comes with a warning. Some questions are designed so that every answer leads to the same nightmare. Across Japan, people whisper about a woman wearing a white mask who appears when the streets fall silent. She asks only one question: "Am I pretty?" Most people think it's just another urban legend, a creepy story shared online for clicks and likes. But what if every repost, every live stream, and every viral video is keeping something alive? So dim the lights, lock your doors, and if your phone buzzes from an unknown number before this story ends, whatever you do, don't answer. Welcome back to 9 Lives of Fear.
The fog in the alley clung to the damp brick walls like a heavy blanket, carrying a sharp mix of antiseptic and metallic odors. I should have turned back the moment my phone screen flickered and the signal bars disappeared into that dead zone that seems to lurk in the darkest corners of Tokyo. 3 years chasing what people call digital ghosts, viral glitches, deepfake sightings, live streams that didn't add up, and most of it turned out to be nothing. I kept going anyway. I'm Kaito. This tip was supposed to be like the others. A grainy clip, a username that didn't exist a week later, a dead end-eyed write-off by morning. But the message had come from someone who claimed they'd actually stood where I was standing now, and they'd stopped answering before I could ask them what happened next. Then I saw her, standing under a flickering street lamp, a woman in a long, tattered trench coat, frayed at the cuffs, as if it had been worn through decades it shouldn't have survived. Her face was obscured by a pristine white surgical mask, strikingly clean against the grimy surroundings. That was the first thing that fell off. The mask. I didn't need to see her face to know who she was. The internet had been buzzing about Kuchisake Onna for months, and somewhere along the way, she'd morphed into a global sensation, dubbed the masked entity. She moved toward me in a way that didn't track right, like footage with frames missing, as she halted just a few feet away.
Am I pretty?
Her voice didn't come from behind a mask. It came from everywhere at once, the way a notification sound does, already around you before you register it. I knew the legend. If you said yes, she'd unveil a grotesque smile, carved into her face, and slice yours to match. If you said no, you dropped dead on the spot. There was no winning this game. My heart raced as I dug into my pocket and wrapped my fingers around a piece of Becco Aim, that hard caramel candy. Old Tales said she couldn't resist a little gift or distraction. But as I looked at her now, I wasn't sure the Old Tales had ever met something like this. I can't answer that, I murmured. She tilted her head slowly, and the silence between us stretched until it felt almost suffocating. The shears came up, not fast, just rising like a hand reaching for something it had already decided to take.
Pretty.
She asked again. I knew better than to play by her rules, so I refused to choose my eyes on the rusted blades instead of the mask. You look average, I replied. For the first time, she faltered. Her shoulders dropped a fraction. The shears stuttered in her grip, like the question had been built for 2 slots and mine didn't fit either one. It wasn't relief on what I could see of her face. There wasn't enough face to read, but something in her had stalled, recalculating. She was still between me and the mouth of the alley. The shears were still in her hand. I tossed the candy past her shoulder, and her head snapped toward it, long enough for me to get past her. I bolted. I didn't dare look back as I sprinted through the narrow back streets, my lungs on fire and my legs threatening to give out. Behind me, I could hear a slow, metallic scraping scrape. Scrape, scrape. Legends never rush. They always linger just behind you. I took turns I didn't recognize, doubling back once just to be sure the sound doubled back with me. It didn't. Or it did, and I'd simply stopped being able to tell the difference between her footsteps and my own pulse. I burst onto a bustling street where neon signs bathed everything in electric blues and reds. People hurried past without a glance my way. I stood at the edge of the crowd for a moment, scanning the street behind me, half expecting a white mass to drift out of the dark into all that light. Nothing came. I melted into the crowd and made my way to my apartment, trembling. I locked the door and slid down to the floor. I don't know how much later I was standing at the bathroom mirror. Outside, everything had settled back into a hush, just another internet frenzy fading into tomorrow's news cycle. I stared at my reflection, half hoping to see a fresh cut across my mouth. There was nothing. I thought about all those videos I'd scrolled through, people cracking jokes, chasing likes, turning an age-old legend into a trending topic. Maybe that's why she never truly vanished. Maybe every meme, every live stream, every share gave her another reason to linger. We go through life hiding behind filters and polished versions of ourselves, masks we all wear. I lifted a shaky hand and brushed my lips. My reflection brushed its lips back a half second too slow, like the mirror was buffering. I told myself it was the lighting. The apartment went very quiet in a way it hadn't been before. Then I heard it. Scrape, scrape, scrape. It wasn't coming from outside my apartment. It was coming from the air vent above me. My phone buzzed. A message from an unknown number. A photo of me in my bathroom, taken from inside the vent, right above my head. 3 words underneath it. Are you pretty? I didn't reach for the door or flick on the lights. I closed my eyes, held my breath, and chose silence again, a third answer for whatever was asking this time, too. I thought about the person who'd sent me that tip, the one who never answered back. I understood now why they hadn't. Maybe it hadn't been her in the vent at all. Maybe it was someone else who'd found the same dead end I had and decided to use it. It didn't change what I needed to do. In a world where every screen is watching, sometimes the safest response is to say nothing at all. Never respond, never look, and just disappear. Whatever was above the ceiling tonight, I hoped it would choose someone else to ask.
The oldest monsters don't always disappear. They simply evolve. Once, legends spread through whispered warnings around campfires. Today, they travel through algorithms, live streams, and endless scrolling. Every share gives them another place to hide. Maybe the real horror isn't the woman behind the mask. Maybe it's how easily we invite strangers into our lives through the screens we trust every day. So if someone you don't know asks a question that feels wrong, sometimes silence is the only answer that keeps you alive. Sleep lightly. You never know who's listening from the other side of the screen. You've survived another tale from 9 lives of fear, but don't get comfortable. If the shadows whispered to you tonight, hit like before they whisper again. Share this video with someone who thinks they're brave. Let's see how long their courage lasts. And subscribe, because around here, every click feeds the darkness, and the darkness remembers. Where the shadows linger long after the story ends. Stay scared.